I grew up in Grosse Pointe, Michigan. Was one of 6 in our family. We traveled around some. I ended up graduating high school in Granada Hills, California, but returned in 1971 back to Michigan because I loved the seasons, I love fresh water, and I love up north. After 3 years at Macomb Community College, I transferred to Walsh. There I studied accounting, got my bachelor's in accountancy, and went on to earn my master's in taxation there as well. In 1980, I started law school at night. I finished 7th out of 135 in that graduating class, so I was pretty proud of that. And I was particularly proud of my wife, who made a tremendous amount of sacrifices for those 4 years, allowing me to achieve that objective. I started working with Ralph Wilson pretty quickly because I started in Arthur Andersen in 1982 and only 6 months later was introduced to him in connection with a project. And Ralph, with his varied business interest and his appetite for risk, was too compelling to not follow through on. But he made one promise to me which he kept, and that is he would never let it get boring. So he passed away in March of 2014. Following that, I was both humbled and challenged to be appointed as one of his life trustees for both his trust and his foundation. Mr. Wilson, several years before he passed away, decided that he wanted to honor my service to him in some way, and he established a scholarship in my name here, which I was very touched by and very proud to have that scholarship in place. My wife Cynthia and I have been married for 42 years. We have 2 beautiful daughters, Christine and Caitlin. Both are married, both live in our neighborhood. We have our first grandchild, who's now 6 months old. I have a lot of hobbies. My core hobbies are hunting, fishing, and training Labrador retrievers. When the girls were younger and could help, we trained 4 leader dogs along the way, but we've also trained Labradors for hunting competition. And for intellectual rigor, I love aviation. I own a Seneca 5, which is a twin-engine Piper aircraft.
As I'm pleased to talk about Jeff tonight, let me largely do so through the words of others that have known him well for the last 31 years of his professional career. Jeffrey Pash, Executive Vice President of the NFL, in a letter to Jeff following the sale of the Bills, wrote, "For so many years, you've helped the Bills and the NFL negotiate some of the most significant and complex issues each has faced. In every instance, you've done so with patience, good humor, and an intellectual rigor that truly borders on the astonishing." At the same time, Eugene Dreiker, a fellow life trustee of the Ralph C. Wilson Jr. Foundation, wrote to Jeff upon the founding of the foundation and the closing of the estate's transfer of wealth to the foundation. "You, Jeff, have led the effort with class, professionalism, diligence, and great instinct for how this all should work. Ralph's great affection and respect for you were richly deserved." The late Mr. Ralph C. Wilson Jr. wrote in a letter to Jeff in 2011, "JL, I'm certain that I wouldn't have gotten along this far without your loyalty and dedication to me and my family. You picked up the ball, and as my good friend Chris Berman always said, he is going all the way. No one, and I mean no one, could have done so much for another person as you've done for me, and for this, you have my heartfelt thanks." Jeff, let me add this. In my 30-plus years in philanthropy and nonprofits, I've met very few people that had intellectual rigor, had the ability to look over the horizon to the next horizon, and had compassion and empathy for the things they were working on with a passionate spirit. And I've met very few that could pull all of those together. That is what you brought to the Ralph C. Wilson Jr. Foundation, and I'm pleased to be working with you.
I am Jeff Littman, a very proud Walsh alumni.